putting my story out there so I can start to let go, heal, and grow emotionally into the adult I want to be. I want to tell my side of the story and how I perceived it as a child growing up with abuse under the influence of drugs and alcohol. My parents split up when I was 2 due to my father abusing my mother and I. When I was 4, the only time I remember seeing my father was in the visits to prison. My mother gave me to my grandparents when I was 5. I remember my grandfather being strict, but he treated me good. He set rules and boundaries like come home after school and do your homework and chores, and then you can go to your friend's house. He'll be home by 8 on school nights and always respect your elders. My grandparents encouraged me to join wrestling and Boy Scouts. My grandpa and I made little regatta boats for Boy Scouts and we raced them together. He also was there for my ceremony when I went from a bobcat to a wolf. My grandma always gave me kisses and hugs and packed the best lunches for school with the food I liked. When I was scared, she would let me lay on her floor next to her bed. She would rub my back and tell me stories. I remember when we took a lot of road trips from Fairbanks to Delta and back. I was a child that would always say, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet?" over and over again, drive my grandparents crazy. But they had a lot of patience and would always distract me or tell me things like, "Look at the moose over there," or "Look at the scenery," or something on the side of the road. My favorite part of our trips was when we got to the big white bridge that went over the Tanana. I knew that we were close to home. My grandfather always made the holidays very special. We had a big tree, lots of lights, lots of gifts, and lots of food. Something I always thought I would have. I had another set of grandparents that I used to visit. I would always go over there and play with Lincoln Logs and Tinker Toys. And they would give us kids trash bags or a little plastic sled, turn on the sprinkler, and let us slip and slide down the hill, as well as race our tricycles and wagons down the hill until we wrecked. One of my favorite things to do was gardening and working in the greenhouse, helping my grandma water and pick strawberries and green beans. I'd always eat more than I collected. It's nice to think about these memories. I thought I had lost them. My mom took me from my grandparents at age 7. Mom got married and we finally settled down for a little bit. School was good, family life was good. My stepdad put together our swing sets and trampolines, and even let us build a tree fort in the yard. I can remember about age 9 when I was dropped off to my father, Gary. My mother left me with him. My mom and grandma did try and come back and get me, but my dad started begging me to stay. So I did. My brother left. My father was always busy with his friends, girlfriends, or work. All he ever did was get drunk or high and beat on us. Before the real hard abuse started, he used to make me go out in the woods and choose my whooping stick. Once my father got a call from my mother after a visit at her house about my brother and I smoking pot. So he bought an ounce, took me 10 miles out to his cabin off the Tanana River and made me smoke the shit until I was sick. Then he threw me in the back of his snow machine and drugged me at about 100 and something miles an hour, wrapped in a mattress, and I was scared to death. He always told me if I was crying to knock it the fuck off. If you aren't bleeding, I will give you a reason to cry. I was so sick and tired of hearing, "I'm sorry, I love you." I was confused at 10 years old and was starting to think that this kind of stuff was love and this is the way it was supposed to be. By the time I was 13, he would beat me so bad I had black eyes, broken ribs, belt marks on my arms and legs, where I couldn't even go to school unless I was wearing long sleeves. I felt like no matter what, I wasn't good enough for him. I didn't know how to make choices without him because of the look he gave me. He would get mad if I called him daddy or called my mom mommy or said belly or tummy instead of stomach. He had to control every little thing. And I did whatever, good or bad, because it seemed to all have the same outcome, and all I ever wanted from him was for him to be my daddy, and he crushed me. He started feeding me cocaine and meth when I wrecked his dealer's snow machine at age 14. They stuck me out in a little metal shed with a space heater and a tarp for a door in the snow machine I wrecked. My dad would always send a woman out with cocaine, and then later on she started coming out with meth. It took about 3 days to get the snow machine done. I guess the positive is that he taught me before all this shit happened is how to tear down a snow machine and rebuild it. My father broke my ribs for smoking cigarettes and pot with his wife. When he would get drunk, he would think it was funny to get me drunk by telling me to lie on my back on the cooler and open my mouth so he could pour beer down my throat until I was sick. I did shit like lie in front of the grand jury, and I've hid him from the police while they were banging on the front door. I thought by doing this for him, he would treat me better and love me more, but he just beat me and smashed my emotions. He fucking hurt me. I loved him and would have done anything for him. He took my innocence and betrayed me. I want to get through this suffering and hope that I can have real happiness in my life. I want closure from my parents. I want to say goodbye to the abuse I suffered, goodbye to the negative baggage of my childhood, and goodbye to the betrayal that has had a hold on me since I was young. By doing this, I hope to gain emotional stability, maturity, and to let go of the childlike emotional attention I think I need. I want closure from my parents, but if I don't get it, I'll be okay, and I'll keep moving forward.